All right, let's cross live now to the United States and see how this news is being received, as well as the tributes there for the late Prince Philip. And of course, this is very crucial, given that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle recently talking out about the royal family, and they, of course, are based in California. Our US correspondent, Sherwin Bryce-Pease, joining us live. Sherwin, thank you very much. Firstly, DMX, so that was the breaking news that came in a little bit later tonight. How is that sort of sinking in the US tonight?
Yeah, very much still trying to come to terms with the facts surrounding his demise. You know, Francis, it reminds me of a time in August of 1997 when Princess Diana died, and soon after that, a few days later, the late Mother Teresa passed on, and how her death, the Catholic nun that spent many of her later years in Calcutta, India, how her death was overshadowed by the events related to Princess Diana's demise just days earlier. And of course, today we have the passing of Prince Philip, the consort to the British monarch who passed away. And now we are getting news that Earl Simmons, known as DMX, a Grammy-nominated platinum-selling artist, multiple platinum-selling artist, passing on. You correctly point out that he suffered cardiac arrest at his home, was taken to hospital, had been in hospital for a number of days. We understand on life support. In fact, there was speculation as early as yesterday that he had passed on, of course, leading to quite a lot of debate on social media. Def Jam Records, the label that really brought him to notoriety, releasing this statement a short time ago. DMX was a brilliant artist and an inspiration to millions around the world. His message of triumph over struggle, his search for light out of darkness, his pursuit of truth and grace brought us closer to our own humanity. His legend will live forever. And as I pointed out, cardiac arrest, some reporting here, Francis, that it might have been caused by a drug overdose. He had also reportedly tested positive for COVID-19 while in that state in hospital. Of course, some of the albums he's best known for: 1997, 1998 debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. The first of 5 consecutive albums, we understand, to debut at #1 on the charts. A triple platinum album followed that debut, and the title, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. And then, of course, in 1999, a 5 times platinum album, and then there was X. So big news out of the United States today that DMX, also born Earl Simmons, dying in upstate New York today at the age of 50.
And like you said, maybe now it can happen in reverse. This will overshadow the death of Prince Philip. Sherwin, you know, even within the UK, we know that people have such different attitudes towards the royal family. And of course, around the world, some interested, sometimes some people don't really care. I'm interested to know how this is being reported on in the US. Is it on front pages, on the front of news sites, or not such a big deal?
The latter, to be clear, Francis. There was some breakaway from coverage. You know, the White House is introducing a $2 trillion infrastructure plan. There's a lot of focus on the legislative fight that faces this White House in regards to that. Of course, you have a great deal of focus on Derek Chauvin's trial in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as it relates to the death of George Floyd in May last year. So that really is dominating airwaves. We saw on breakfast television here this morning some breakaway to correspondents in London. But may we remind people that Prince Philip was not the head of state. He was essentially the first gentleman, akin to a first lady. So, you know, as media coverage goes, we don't tend to focus very much on the #2 or the COO as much as we focus on the CEO, if we are going to use the analogy known as the royal family as the firm. So this is not the head of state. This was the Queen consort. He was the second. He played second fiddle for most of his life, Francis, to the British monarch, and of course marrying into the royal family, a royal himself, born in Greece, but marrying into the British monarchy, not with the expectation that Princess Elizabeth would eventually succeed her father, who himself was an unexpected king. You'll remember it was King Edward who died, who abdicated, his throne in 1936, and then leading to Prince George, then the future King George, Princess Elizabeth's father at the time, taking the throne unexpectedly, then putting her first in line. And so that was an unexpected life that he married into, certainly not expecting to be the Queen's consort for more than 70 years, Francis.
So Sherwin, you use the term, the firm, the phrase, the firm, that was used by Meghan Markle recently, talking out about the royal family and Prince Harry, now residing in the US. Any reaction from them?
Yeah, a very short statement that is on the Archewell Foundation website. Archewell, of course, is the foundation that they recently launched as recently as October last year. And essentially, the website has been overtaken by a banner that reads as follows: Prince Harry, in loving memory of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, 1921 to 2021. Thank you for your service. You will be greatly missed. And of course, we talk about this in the context of this big move, this controversy of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to California, breaking away from their official royal duties. Prince Harry recently taking up a job as an executive at a Silicon Valley startup. The Duke of Sussex becoming the chief impact officer of Better Up Incorporated, the fast-growing coaching and mental health firm. So quite a departure from what we expect a royal, certainly the senior members of the royal family to be involved in here, but certainly a great deal of focus on whether he will now travel to the United Kingdom. We, of course, don't know the details from the palace, from Buckingham Palace, as to how this funeral will happen, whether it will be a public affair or not. We tend to be leaning, with the understanding is we tend to be leaning to a private funeral, given the circumstances we find ourselves in around the world, COVID-19 pandemic. So the palace saying that, you know, they don't want an outpouring of public arrivals at the palace, because just in terms of the protocols that we're all trying to follow in terms of this pandemic around the world.
All right, thank you very much. Sherwin Bryce-Pease live for us from New York.